All right, what's happening, my mathletes? That's right, Miss Muscarella coming at you. And in this video, we're going to take a look at the second half of example 1 of our sum and difference formulas. So when we do this, remember, we're working with 75 degrees here. And look at all these different options we have for 75 degrees. So we got 120 minus 45, 135 minus 60. Any of these options will work. All right, so one of those options that'll work, we'll just pick one of them and then we'll apply it correctly in the formula. So when we go to use a difference formula, so now we're going to be looking at sine u cos v over cos u sine v. So again, remember that order is going to matter. That order is going to matter. So just to keep it kind of simple, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use our very first one. So let me go ahead and grab our unit circle. And we're going to use maybe 135 minus 60. So 135 minus 60. So I'm going to paste that down here because we might need that guy coming up here in a little bit. So what we're going to do is say, so again, we're going to start this off, right, just like this. So we're going to say 75 or sine of 75 equals, we're going to say sine of 135 minus 60. So we're going to put all that on line 1. And when we do that, we're like, okay, so this is our u and this is our v. So those are going to be the two pieces, the two angles that we're going to use. And then when we go to apply them in our formula, so our difference formula, and again, difference formula is different than our sine formula. And the order matters here, right? So sine of u, so we're going to have the sine of 135 times the cosine of v, which is 60. Then we do have a subtracting sign in here as we deal with the next piece of it, the cos u sine v. So the cosine of u, we'll do the cosine of 135 and then the sine of 60. So now this one, and notice the pattern here on both of these. So again, here's the pattern part I want you to kind of look at. This value right here is the same, that's our u value. And then our v value, that was 60. So we've got 60 there and 60 there. And with both of those, we start off with sine in the sine formula. So we start off sine 135, sine of u, and then cos. So all of these have sine and cos, and it's kind of like, another way you can remember, it's like this starts with sine and then ends with sine. And in the middle, our middle function, right, we've got cosine and cosine. And then our u's and v's are in the right spot. So there's, just a couple different ways to kind of keep it straight because it takes a while to get used to it. But then once we have these guys, then we're going to just start looking at our unit circle and plugging in the appropriate values. So, and this is where a lot of people, take your time because I don't want you to make a mistake here. So the sine of 135 is going to be, we'll look at our y value, 135, we get square root of 2 over 2. And then the cosine of 60, so now we're going to look at our x value at 60 degrees, and that is 1/2. So we've got that product right there. And then we're going to subtract the cosine of 135. So I look at 135, cosine, my x-coordinate, is going to be negative square root of 2 over 2. And then the sine of 60, so I look at 60, the sine of that, my y value, is square root of 3 over 2. Now, when we do this, so let me get the unit circle kind of out of the way, because we've got all of our values now. And most people struggle with the arithmetic on this. So do take your time. No rush on that. The first one will give us a product of square root of 2 over 4. Now, be careful here because you've got this double negative going on right here, bro. Negative times a negative, right? All that stuff. That's going to make that positive. And then we'll have square root of 2 times square root of 3 gives us square root of 6. And on the bottom, we have square root of 4. When you combine those two, you will end up with square root of 2 plus square root of 6. So you can combine the numerators, square root of 2 plus square root of 6, and the denominator is going to just stay as 4. Now notice when we did this using our sum formula, we ended up with square root of 6 plus square root of 2 over 4. Well, that's the same thing, bro. It's just you can take the top and separate them and everything. It's all good because you can do that with adding or subtracting. So it didn't matter which formula we used. We came up with the same two values, the same value for the sine of 75, whether we used an addition formula or we used a subtraction formula. So the key with this is to pay attention because sometimes the directions will say use a sum formula to find, whatever the degree is, or use a difference formula. So main thing is reading correctly. But again, we could have used any number of different options here. We used 135 and 60. We could have also used maybe 210 and 135. as our possible u's and v's. So as you go through your list, you know, the first number will be the u and the second number will be the v. But you could use any combination there as long as that sum, or I'm sorry, the difference here would be 75. And you're good to go. So somebody else could have done it with 300 and 225. You'd still get the same result. The beauty of math is that it is always simple that way once you start seeing the patterns. All right, coolio. So that's it for this one. We're going to come back and do example number 2 here, and you might even be able to pause, do that one on your own, bro, if you think you are ready for that. All right, so thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch up with you later. Peace out.